Marriage is an option given by God. What do I mean by that? First of all, marriage was created by God. It is His product. But it's an option. Thank God. Marriage is an option. What does that mean? It means that marriage is not necessary for an individual to fulfill God's will for their lives. You can't fulfill God's will and His purpose for your life without being married. So don't spend all your life looking for someone to marry and forget to live God's will. You should be preoccupied fulfilling God's will or preparing to fulfill it, rather than consuming your time chasing the prospect of marriage. In other words, marriage is a choice. It's not mandatory. There are many people in history and also biblical characters who did great works for God and were not married. The first thing I said in this session was this: marriage is an attraction, but it is also a distraction. In other words, marriage can enhance your destiny or destroy your destiny. There are people who were doing well until they got married. They were on course with their life. They had their whole vision planned. They had every goal set. They had their career on track. Everything was in order. They were zealous for God. They knew their purpose. They were passionate for their dream, and they were organized. Their life was decent until they got married. And now they are confused. They are depressed. They are lost. They don't know what to do anymore. They're frustrated. Imagine, marriage is so dangerous, it can derail your destiny. I guess my point is, don't take this lightly. If you want to know how dangerous marriage is, read this verse with me. Read Matthew 19:10. The disciples said to Jesus, if this is the situation between husband and wife, I'm talking from the Bible now, the disciples told Jesus, then it's better for a man not to marry. They got a revelation of how complicated it was that day. They said, hey, stay by yourself. They were instructed by Jesus, and their conclusion was, this is dangerous. The most important decision you will ever make next to your salvation is who you plan to live with in marriage. I heard in the past people say, the most important decision you'll ever make is to buy a house. Wrong. Because anyone can buy a house. The trouble is building a home in it. And there are many people here today who will tell you they have a wonderful house, worked hard for it, saved up, built it themselves, but they can't live in it. Going home is hell. Don't ever confuse a house with a home. It's easy to build a house, tough to build a home. They said, stay alone. Look at the response of Jesus in verse 11. Jesus agreed. He says, look, not only it's better for you not to get married, he says, but not everyone can accept this responsibility. Have you ever said that before in the Bible? Look at it. He says, a lot of folks even ain't ready for this. He says, you can't, not everyone, he says, can handle this. That's God talking. Well, I'm 30, I'm a woman. Oh, really? Well, I'm 40, I'm a man. God says, listen, your age ain't got nothing to do with this. Are you ready for this? Let me tell you something, and folks here will testify. No matter how smart you are, marriage will get you. All your degrees mean nothing when you get into marriage. Sometimes I become very intrigued when I meet a psychologist, a PhD, who's been married 3 times. And I'm thinking, I'll never come to you for counsel. Because they think that their education equips them. You ain't no man because you're 40. You're man when you can live with one woman for 40 years. Then you's man, but you's man. You go through her hormonal changes. If you survive her flashes, oh yeah. If you survive her saying, don't touch me, if you survive that, you's man now, you's man. You ain't a man because you're 40. Arturo, keep looking at me, okay? Just keep looking at me. Protect yourself, brother. You know, Jesus says, look, not everyone can accept this. Listen to him. He says, not everybody ready for this. In God's country, you got to be ready for marriage. An age is not the qualification.